Welcome to the Trainer Talk, where we discuss topics related to health and fitness to help you gain back control of your health and fitness and become the absolute best version of yourself physically and mentally. Enjoy.
I'm in bed by a certain time. I only do certain stuff. If you mess up my schedule, I'm gonna be very mad.
In this episode of the Trainer Talk, we interview 17-year-old student athlete Riley Wallace about her fitness journey. She started with us in our athletic training camps about 3 years ago and has been pursuing CrossFit ever since. She competes competitively in CrossFit and weightlifting, and her story is very inspiring, and we hope that it inspires other student athletes, especially girls, into wanting to become the best version of themselves physically and mentally. So we hope you enjoy. You, Taryn, and Tori have been training for about 3 years, doing athletic training camps where you started, and then doing CrossFit. And we've worked with tons of athletes, but you three are the only ones that have pursued it all year round and stuck with it for a consistent amount of time. And I think that's because a lot of times the girls are a little bit afraid to work out and lift heavy weights, things like that. And so I want to get your opinion, or we want to get your opinion on training and working out as a high school girl slash athlete. So I have some questions for you. What was your initial thought when you found out that you're going to be doing athletic training, 2 or 3 years ago? Were you excited about it? Were you nervous about it? Did you not want to do it?
Yeah, mine was, I was nervous about it because I'd never been in the gym before. Like, it was a completely new environment. But no, I wanted to work out. Like, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to find something where I could learn. So then, honestly, my goal was to just work out in the gym. Yeah. But then I got involved in this, and it led to a lot of other stuff.
One thing after another.
Yeah. Strength the Kool-Aid. Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, with that being said, what was it like when you first started training? Maybe like the first month or two. Like, how was it?
I'm not even recall really how I felt, but I mean, it was different because there was 2 other girls, Tori, and then we had Reese. Mm-hmm. So there were just 3 girls, and the rest were all guys, which is pretty standard, I guess. But it was different. It was cool. Honestly, at the time, I didn't know we were doing CrossFit.
Right.
It
was called athletic training.
It was,
No athletes realize that we do CrossFit here, no matter what program that you
I didn't know what CrossFit was. I was just like, okay, we're working out. But it was cool. I mean, you were with kids like around your age, so you get to hang out with everyone and see how everyone does.
On that, like, when did you realize what you were doing was CrossFit, and when did you realize, hey, I could pursue this as a sport, or what kind of inspired you to start following more of the competitive track for CrossFit?
I realized it was CrossFit. I think it was on YouTube or something like that, and I watched 2015 or something like that, one of the CrossFit documentaries. Mm-hmm. So it was when Matt Frazier was in his prime. I think he had Catch and David's daughter won that year or something like that. But I was like, oh, that's what I do. But I also saw it as at the time I wasn't training to really be strong in the aspect. I was honestly in the mindset of, I want to be skinny. That was kind of my mindset when I started training. I'm I've always been, or I haven't always been, I was always an active kid, but I started getting to where I was putting on weight, I was starting to feel self-conscious, and I was like, I'm gonna train so I can lose weight. And it's very unhealthy to have that mindset as a 14-year-old, but that's how I thought of it. It's I'm gonna, go on a diet, I'm gonna do all this. But when I saw the CrossFit women and how their body shape and how mine was more similar to theirs. The broad shoulders, the more they don't have tiny waists. They're more just kind of built like a brick, I guess. Yeah. And I was that's always been me. And I was that would be something. It's just so cool to see women who aren't ashamed of how they look, and they're just strong, and they're in shape, and they're healthy. It's just cool to see.
Yeah.
Bethany was just saying how like, you know, a lot more women are shifting to what their bodies are capable of rather than just looking a certain way. So would you say watching that gave you a different perspective on training? Okay, I can train to get stronger, fitter, see what I'm really truly capable of.
That definitely was like, okay, I don't need to, you know, eat under like this
1,000 calories.
I'm not gonna go on some absurd thing, because that's what it was. Is it's like the biggest thing that was like everywhere, and social media has a huge, like, it takes a huge toll on especially younger teenage girls of this is what the standards are, and it was like 1,200 calories and you'll lose weight. Well, it's like, that's not healthy at all, and it never has been, but it's something that's put out there. Oh, you eat this, or when you're hungry, just drink water and don't eat one meal a day, and it's like just absurd. But seeing that of like these women who can, I mean, they eat healthy, they do like they train, but they eat, and how they train is to be healthy. Like they're not
to be
going,
fit.
to be fit. Like they don't care about how much they look, because honestly, CrossFit is one of the coolest things. Of you can kind of be any age or look any way, but you can be in shape. Like,
and what I like about it too is, especially for athletes, not only does CrossFit a very good vehicle to become a better athlete, but it also is a sport in itself where you can do it for the rest of your life. So those people that love to compete as high school athletes, softball, basketball, whatever it is, you can pick up CrossFit to become a better softball, basketball player, but also you can do it for the rest of your life. Like Tori's graduated 2 years ago. She still works out with you and Taryn because she loves CrossFit and she's very competitive. So she is able to keep that competitive kind of, you know, edge going for the rest of her life with something that like CrossFit, where you're testing yourself and you're seeing what you're capable of. What kind of results, or I guess like when did you realize that CrossFit was something that you really wanted to start taking seriously and competing and stuff like that in?
I mean, I would say I've always had like a competitive edge. Like before I did anything, I showed animals and stuff, and I wasn't always the best, but I did like the, you know, like winning and stuff like that was, I'm going to work my butt off all this time, and I'm going to commit to this fully, and you get results out of that. So that was kind of like how it led into it. And honestly, my coming in here and seeing Tori, and I was like, well, this is the best athlete here. That's how I looked at it. I was like, this is who, I wouldn't say I was competing against, but this, like, Tori is a girl that I always looked up to. And I'm like, I want to be like that. So then once I started working out, like working harder, kind of getting into that mindset of like, that's what I want to be. And it kind of had that competitive edge. And then I started, you know, I was able to keep up with Tori. I was able to at some point beat Tori. And then it was just kind of started that. But then it was, I can't always compete against, like, you want to find the next best thing. So, you know, surround yourself with people who are better than you, so it always gives you something to look up to, which is, but then I started training with like you guys, and that gave another bump up of, wow, I guess I'm really not in shape. So, I guess I'm not there yet. And then I started competing in it, and I'm like, oh, I've really got a lot of work to do to be able to compete in that competitive bracket.
Gives you something to keep chasing. The wolf at the bottom of the hill is a lot hungrier than the wolf at the top, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I think probably seeing your weaknesses are what make you push yourself even harder, aren't they?
And the thing is I am very much a perfectionist, so I get very upset when things don't immediately work out and they don't immediately go. But CrossFit has helped me realize that if you just keep working and you don't give up on it immediately, then you can get really far. Because like I've had quite a few weaknesses, but when you just keep chipping away at them, they start to become your strengths. And that's something that's really cool.
So how has that changed or impacted your life outside of the gym too, like with your confidence or your mindset things like that, do you think CrossFit's correlated over?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't deal with kind of high school kids, I guess. So I don't really have like the constant of like, oh, I care what people think about me. And for a little while it was, because I just like, you kind of struggle with like body image and stuff, that you start to lose like self-confidence. But definitely doing CrossFit and working on my mindset, because my mindset has always been one of my biggest weaknesses, of just self-doubt all the time and just questioning everything that I do. And so it definitely helped outside of just like, I know that like, I wouldn't say I know that I'm good enough, but like just being able to have confidence in yourself, it definitely helped build that up.
And once you ran into an obstacle that I can't do double unders, and you just try, and then once you're able to, or the muscle up, so you just did your first muscle up, and then you broke that belief of, I can do this, and then it opens yourself up to, what else can I do? Yeah,
because I wouldn't even say that it's like other people that I cared about. It was always just myself, of like what I told myself. I mean, I was my biggest enemy always. Like, it's just that constant voice in your head, you can't do that, you can't do that, like, you're not good enough to do that. But like, being able to break those obstacles and like see that I could do that was just kind of like, well, no, there's no doubt in my mind that I can do this. Right. Like, it kind of fires you up of like, well, what's the limit? Like, is there a limit to what I can do?
There's not.
Yeah. No.
Especially if like you look back. So I mean, you started like what, 2-3 years ago, and if you look back to when you first started and all the things that you like, oh, I can't do that, or I'll never be able to do that, and then you see how far you've come to where you are now and where your abilities are, like, how does that make you excited for what you're going to be able to do in the future?
Honestly, like, I think about it of even like where I am right now, how far I've come in just a matter of like months. Like, I competed in February, I think, or whenever South Carolina was. But just to seeing the difference between then and now is astronomical. Yeah. I would say lit a fire of just, I want to say I am the best, but I want to be the best that I possibly can be. So then it's just constantly chipping away at weaknesses that has really worked out for me. So I think it's really cool to make those improvements. Even if you, like, it's not immediate that you make those improvements. It's over time. Like, it's really cool to see how much you can do if you just set your mind to it.
100%.
Just work at it.
A couple things. So one, it's not, what I love about CrossFit, and just give your opinion, like, it's not like, I want to beat Bethany, or I want to beat DeLauren. It's, we use each other to make each other better. Yeah. We want to become the best version of us, like, be the best you. That's kind of what you meant, like, once you went to Fitness to the Coast, and you like, okay, I have some work to do. I just want to get better. That person inspired me. This girl, I want to be like that. Yeah. It's not, I want to come and destroy that person. It's like, I want to get better, so I'm on their level. Yeah. Right? Yeah. The other thing, how often do you train? What does your training look like? Just for everybody listening to kind of see like what you actually dedicate to get to where you are right now.
Well, I just got off of working out 7 days a week, twice a day. So
75.
Yeah.
But in general,
I'd say it's usually 5 days a week, and then it's one active recovery day, and then one rest day.
How long are your training sessions usually?
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. With stretching, cool down.
All of that.
And then about an hour and a half of actual working out. Yeah.
And then sometimes it's 2 a day, so I'll go and do something outside or something like that. Or add in like a conditioning piece or something.
So you've probably had to make a lot of sacrifices with that amount of time being put in. Yeah. So I'm curious, like, what are some of those sacrifices you've had to make? Like, you know, putting in that much time, you have to take away from other things. So, like, what are some of those things? And you still find balance in between, you know, like working out, being disciplined in the gym, and still having like fun and, you know, going out with friends or family, or, you know, just outside the gym things?
One of my things that I kind of gave up was showing animals. So showing animals, I still have, like, we still have a farm and everything, but like, it definitely takes up a lot of your time. So that was something I really had to look at, of like, what path am I going to go down? Like, do I want to fully commit to CrossFit and put in all my time here? Or am I going to kind of like, go both ways or try to figure it out, work it in there? But yeah, showing animals was one of like my big things. I just can't, like, I don't have the time. Like, I want to focus on competing in CrossFit more than showing animals, which if I wanted to, I could kind of like, if I wanted to show it like the fair or something like that, but it was just, I don't have the time. Like, and I don't like half-assing things. So I go all in on everything I do.
Yeah, all or nothing.
So you were saying before we started, like, somebody disrupts your schedule or your sleep time, you're very upset. So what's kind of like your schedule, maybe your nutrition, how many calories you eat? This is the big thing, because we just talked about most girls, especially high school, even adults, like, they want to be skinny or lose weight, so they're maybe eating 1,000, 1,200 calories, very restrictive. Like, what's your nutrition like, and then maybe like your routine outside of the gym?
I had a dietitian, and I was on, I think, like 16 to 1,800 calories, which that was to lose weight. And I got down like 10 pounds, but then I started training a whole lot more. So then I'm like, I can't maintain on this. Like, I started feeling like I was losing strength. Like, everything was just kind of like crashing down on me. I'm like, so I eat like 2,000, 2,300 right now. Okay. And that's mostly like a lot of protein, lots of carbs. Okay.
Pretty clean.
Yes.
You're not eating junk.
No.
The occasional crumble cookies.
Yeah.
So like, what is it that you do for fun outside of the gym? So like, kind of touched on what like the Lauren said with going out with friends or family. Like, what does that look like for you? Because I mean, I know you don't go out and party like a typical high school student would.
I mean, if like I want to hang out with my friends, it's usually like during the day, like we go to the beach or something like that. Most of the time, I'm usually hanging out with my sister. That's kind of like my best friend, I'd say. Cut that out.
You think she'd watch it?
She's very excited for this, but she also understands of how I am. So like, I surround myself with people who understand the type of person that I am. So if you want to hang out at midnight, it's not going to happen. You're not going to see me ever. Like, you got to make time for, like, I'll compromise with you. I might stay late. I don't know if you let me sleep at your house. I might be able to, but I'm going to bed at this time. Like, I usually hang out with my friends like during the day, try to get time in. And I mean, it is hard because I am a very focused, kind of driven individual. Like, I am bad about making time for my friends, but occasionally I try to be like, oh, I gotta remember that I need to also, because I mean, competing in CrossFit, and this is kind of harsh to say, but it is, I wouldn't say it's a selfish sport, but it is taking time to just really focus in on yourself. Like, and I have a very supportive family that understands that, so they help me out with whatever I need or whatever I'm doing or whatever needs to happen that day of like, okay, I'll get this done. But I think just finding people who understand you as a person that will support you in any way. Yeah.
Well, you really find out who your true friends are and who really loves you when, if they understand, okay, you have this goal, here's your priorities, I'm going to go and do this. If somebody's like, oh, Riley doesn't ever want to hang out because she's doing this thing, they're not, they don't support you 100%. They're just looking up, they want to hang out, So you have your priorities straight. And I like that you said, like, you surround yourself with people that are supportive and moving you toward your goals in that way. I think a lot of kids especially are hanging out with the wrong crowd and people that are bringing them down and steering them in the wrong direction. So that is a sacrifice that you do have to make, but it's for the greater good of whatever your priorities are at. So if there's somebody out there that wants to be a great athlete or maybe just wants to focus on, their academics or whatever it is. Like they have to pick and choose who they're spending all their time with. Because I definitely think that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you surround yourself with people that,
Yeah.
you know, you probably spend more time with your mom and your sister, and it's probably us.
Mm-hmm.
At the gym pretty much.
Which,
12 hours a week.
Yeah, it's important to find people who also understand what you do. So, like, hang out with you guys. But then I also have friends who are very supportive of it, but they're
That's
just
great.
like, yeah, I don't really know what she does, but I'll support her in it. Like, that's cool.
Like, you know, you're out doing your thing, and they're just like, hey, that's cool. Like, I'm not going to try and get in the way of it, and just support you the best that they can. And they're not going to, like, be like, hey, come out with us on Friday night. And you'll be like, no, I got to get up and work out tomorrow morning. And they understand that, you know, that's just not part of your lifestyle. And, you know, it's cool that you recognize so many different things at the age that you have, because I feel like a lot of women, they get to the point of where they're like 30s, 40s, and they're still thinking like they have that same mindset of, oh, I'm going to the gym to get skinnier, to lose weight, and I got to eat a bunch less, and I have to work out just to burn calories and like lose weight. And you've already like made that mindset shift. And I think that like sets you up for a lot like greater success throughout your life versus like, I mean, people, they usually can learn that, but instead of having that belief reinforced so many times. And I think that having that narrative out there for young girls today is really helpful. Because like, so there's, which I guess you didn't hear about it, but the muscle mommy trend thing that's going on, and like they're talking about giving women creatine and like women being stronger, having more muscles, and how that's attractive, and like girls are trying to be like that, and they're posting more about them lifting, you know, deadlifting heavy and stuff like that, and how that's getting so much more praise and support nowadays versus like maybe 15 years ago. And it was all about like, I mean, you think of early 2000s and like that body type that you would think of, and it's all like absolutely rail thin. And like, how do you think that's impacted, I guess, like maybe the social media growing up, or was it still kind of the same as back then of like prioritizing, okay, like this very thin ideal, or is it helping now that there's more of those role models like the CrossFit Games athletes to look up to?
I think like definitely even like I'd say from like 10 to probably like 15, I think that's kind of when you start to realize like, oh, you know, like you're going through like changes and all that. Like you start to notice stuff and you start to then nitpick at little things, and you're like, well, I'm not this, or you know, you see magazines or something like that, and you're like, I want to look exactly like that girl, but it's also, you know, not possible. Like there are some things that just are not possible for like certain body types or certain genetics. Like you wouldn't be able to look like that and look healthy. So like there are a lot of like teenage girls who go down an unhealthy route that leads to eating disorders and stuff like that, which unfortunately happens a lot. But I think it is very important to, I wouldn't say go after a certain body size, because like the muscle mommy thing of like, it is very cool, but even then, like some people might not have that sort of like genetics to look like that, but it is a healthier like like it's something much better to look up to, of being like, I want to be strong, I want to lift heavy. Like you don't have to look crazy muscular or anything like that, but you can at least try it out. Like I think it is cool to see that that is being idolized, of just a healthy, fit person who because I mean, I don't deal with it a whole lot, but I also don't really care of like judgment of like how I look. Like I do get comments of like, oh, you know, you have like big arms and stuff like that. Like you like deal with those sort of comments, or someone asks how much can you bench press or something like that. But I mean, I think on like my perspective, I think it's cool of seeing healthy women.
Oh yeah.
Being idolized.
I think it's it all comes back to, I wish, and I think it's starting to shift to where women and people are wanting to become the best version of themselves rather than, oh, I want to look like that.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, we're all like, the trend is we're all lifting heavy, so that's the cool thing. And then they're
Yeah.
going to notice, oh, I'm feeling stronger, I'm feeling more confident. I'm just going to be the best me, basically. That's what I wish. I want to get more people to think like that, is just becoming the best you rather than comparing and judging and things like that. But,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought this up, because like it's not just the training and the results that you're getting right now. Like, you're building habits and skills, and you're learning so many things at a young age that's going to set yourself up for success in the future in whatever you do, just because you've learned these skills and discipline and things like that, and the confidence that you have. So like it'll tie directly into everything else that you do in life, whether it's your career, your family, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's really powerful for girls in high school to understand right now, is you don't just work out to look a certain way or perform a certain way in a sport, but you're developing discipline, work ethic. You're building, more confidence in yourself, and that's gonna literally lead into everything else that they do once they go off to college and get a job and start a family, things like that. Like, there's so many more benefits to training than just looking a certain way or performing a certain way.
Yeah. The biggest, I mean, I could look anyway and I don't care, but my biggest thing right now is like my mindset of where it's at, of how it has kind of completely reset itself and how I think of things. And like, if I am faced with a challenge, I know I'll figure it out. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's here or outside the gym, I'm able to put my mind to it and tackle it.
I think that's probably one of the biggest transformations you've had.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think it was like right when I started, and I remember like you would walk in and just like absolutely look PO'd when you'd walk in. And I'd just be like, okay, don't want to talk to her today. Just be like, hi, and then go about my business, right? And then like, I think just like over time or something, like you've just grown to, I don't know, it's just like this different mindset shifts or something like that. But I do remember that like some days you just walk out and be like, okay, she looks like she's ready to just like tear through someone if someone says something wrong to her. And like just in general with training and everything, I think that you come a long ways, like as far as mindset goes, for sure.
Yeah.
One of like my biggest things was like, if I had like a hard training day or I wasn't getting stuff right, I would immediately just be so upset. I'd be like, that's it, I'm done, I'm quitting. Like, I don't understand, I don't know why I'm doing this. And then I'd show up the next day, but I'd still have kind of like that resentment towards it, where now I've kind of worked for that of like, okay, it's an obstacle, how am I going to overcome it? Like, and also having fun with training has been a big difference. Like, there's sometimes I still get mad at myself, but it's also like, it's fine. Like, it's just one day. Like, it's not going to change the outcome of the entire year. We'll get through it. Like, we can work at this. And even when like I have like a weakness that's exposed that maybe I thought I got rid of, or I worked on it, or maybe it was just gone for a little while, and then I'm like, dang it. Back at it again.
It's one of the most humbling things.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you used to get down at the Metcon and then you'd lay on the floor and basically start crying, I said, you don't cry until you're completely done with the Metcon, because you'd do it between rounds. And you would immediately switch gears, and you pretty much don't do it at all anymore. And what I want to ask you is not just changing your mindset, but like having other people to help you through that process, like a mentor. How has that helped you? Because I feel like a lot of girls are afraid to ask for help into what they want to accomplish. Like, they just try to do things on their own. They don't really know what to do or how to do it. And so how much has it helped having everybody else, Taryn, Tori, me, Bethany, the coaches, kind of help you get to where you're at?
I'd say it's definitely different, because like everyone has their own perspective. Like, everyone feels different. Like, I even looked at it of like with Taryn. Taryn's someone who always gets in her head. Like, Taryn can do anything. Like, I think that Taryn can literally do anything in the world, but it's just herself telling her that she can't. That's her biggest problem. Like, Taryn's mind gets in her way more than anything else. So I look at it as like, I can tell Taryn, hey, like, don't worry about that, or don't think about that. But then I can't tell myself that.
Right.
It's like, well, how am I supposed to tell someone to do something that I can't even do that. Like, I can't even, there's some days I don't believe in myself. It's like, how am I supposed to tell her to believe in herself when I can't think that way? And I think just like seeing everyone's like, even if it's not like a workout or something that's geared towards them, but you being able to work through it, figure it out, like just different perspectives. So also people can, if you have a bad workout, they're not immediately upset. They're like, yeah, it is what it is. But then they come back in like the next day perfectly, happy and fine.
They kind of like help reassure you through it. Like, I mean, like for you with Taryn, like Taylor's probably reassured you on certain days of like, oh, it's probably just a lucky day. Like, you're just kind of having a bad day with snatches or something, and then you're able to kind of like move past it, even though it's hard to do it yourself, because it's true, you can't really tell yourself certain things. Like, you can, to a certain point you can, but it's helpful when someone else is like, you're still strong, you're still good, like, it's just a day, and then it helps you get past it.
Well, Tori's one of those people that you never have to worry about her. Like, she's literally just
best mindset.
Yeah, just it's whatever. Like, she probably didn't hear what you said, but she's going to do it anyway. So it's just, so what are we doing?
Yeah, you could read off any workout, and she'd be like, okay. And that's it. She just does it. Yep. So with that being said, would you say it's been very, very helpful for you having mentors or people that have helped you as far as coaching and stuff like that?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, I don't even know where I'd be if I just came here every day and like did a CrossFit workout. Like, I don't know where that'd be. I think having people there to encourage you or help you see stuff differently or give you a different perspective on things definitely helps a lot.
Yeah. I mean, when I think back to when I started actually because of one of my friends, Chase, who did CrossFit, and then I watched the Rich Froning documentary, and I was like, this looks freaking awesome. So I literally started pursuing it, and then looking up to all those other athletes, watching videos, videotape myself, comparing. So I was always getting help from other people, even though it wasn't directly in person. So it's been very, very cool to be able to take all that knowledge and all of our experience and then help you guys get to that point now too. And I think you're getting to the level where you're going to start beating all of us and everything. You're going to be teaching us what to do.
Pretty quick.
So I feel like we could talk probably all day. Is there anything else that you guys want to ask before I ask the last question?
I'm kind of curious who's been your biggest, like, people you've looked up to throughout, when you first started, maybe somebody who got you into it, and then now, like whether it's, somebody here at the gym or athletes you've seen on TV or like the documentary you watched. The people competing in the CrossFit Games. Who are some of those people that you've really kind of idolized?
I don't know if I've ever I've always admired you got like Mal O'Brien. She started at a very young age, and like Emma Lawson. You look at more girls like around your age. There's like Trista Smith who trains with like Justin Medeiros, and like she's at the games right now. So there's always like certain people, but I mean, I'd say I'd go to anyone here has really helped. Again, surround yourself with people who are better than you. I think that was always like a good thing of having Taylor there. Of like, I could get there someday, and one of these days I'm gonna beat him. It hasn't happened yet, but one of these days.
They like to make fun of how old I'm getting, so every time I beat him, I have to say, "Oh, I'm getting beat by the old guy."
Yeah, sooner or later you're gonna hit that.
I know. I said there's gonna be a point in time where I get to a level where I'm gonna start going down, and she's gonna be passing me. But I'm gonna hold on as long as I possibly can. Keep her motivated.
I have a fun question. Who do you think's gonna win on the women's side for the games this year?
I have no idea. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
Mal and Tia aren't there.
Yeah. If I knew Tia wasn't gonna be there, I'd say Mal.
Yeah.
But now I honestly think it's open.
I picked Danielle Brandon. Why not?
Yeah.
I feel like Laura's a shoe-in, but I was like,
Yeah.
for funsies.
Yeah, I'd have to look at everybody who's actually competing because I
Yeah.
can't even think of who would be the top right now. But.
Yeah. That was my fun question.
Yep.
Okay.
So, after everything that we've talked about, what would you say? Let's say hypothetically there's, 14, 15, 16 high school teenage girls watching this video. What would you say to them if they were on the fence about starting to work out or train? Or maybe they didn't think that they could train with a barbell or heavy weights. Like, what would you maybe say to them to get them to take that first step?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because I've always had kind of like a different perspective on things, and I wanted to be here. Like that's
Right.
kind of like a difference. Nobody forced me to come here. Nobody made me to. Even if it was a bad day, I was like, well, I'm gonna go back tomorrow. Like I don't care. But I'd say like maybe talking to a friend about it who's maybe like also interested in it, and just coming in here, asking someone for help. That's always a big thing. Of you might like you're not gonna know everything, but like it's never hurts to ask. Like,
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. That's
Yeah.
what I'd say.
Would you say, like, if somebody has a goal, like, like Barry, he's got this goal dead set on college baseball, and he and you are just the most incredible teenagers that I've ever seen as far as their work ethic goes and discipline. Like, if there was another, girl in high school that has that same mentality of, I want to go play college basketball, like, would you say like they need to really stop and think about what they want to do, how they're going to get there, and how important is this piece to someone becoming, who they want to become, as far as like building that confidence and the discipline and the work that goes into it. Yeah.
I think of it as like to be competitive, you have to look at every aspect of your life. Everything, like I wouldn't say has to be 100% dialed in, but you have to have everything. Like if your mindset's not good, then you're not getting anything out of this. Like it doesn't matter even if you get like an endorphin rush or something like that, but like then you go home and you're just sitting there again and wondering, like it's the self-doubt hits again or something like that. Like you get relief for the couple hours that you're here, but then you go home and you're like thinking about all this stuff, and your nutrition being dialed in and your sleep dialed in and your recovery and all of those aspects have to be lined up to, honestly, I'd say reach any goal. Like it can be inside the gym or outside the gym. If you're not kind of set in every aspect, then you're never going to achieve it. So, because like I hit kind of like a wall of like doubting myself really bad. Like, is this something that I want to do? Like, is this what I want to pursue? Like, am I going to get anywhere with this? But then I have really looked at like my mindset of where it was, of how just weak my mindset was, and all of like the self-doubt and how I constantly critiqued myself or just didn't believe. So then it was fixing that, and then also the discipline of just making sure I ate healthy, did all these things, prioritizing myself over a lot of other stuff, was just helped me keep moving forward. And that's my biggest thing right now is like on every aspect, I've kind of got it, all my ducks in a row. They're all kind of going. So, but I've also been making huge improvements in everything. So,
So, in other words, if you want to be a great CrossFit athlete, you can't just come in here and lift a barbell every day. You have to do the gymnastics, do the cardio. You need to eat right, sleep right, hydrate, recover. There's so many more pillars, I think, that are coming to play than people think, especially athletes. Like, I'm going to, I want to be a great basketball player, so I'm going to practice my dribbling and shooting. But they don't focus on anything else: speed, agility, quickness, strength, nutrition, sleep, all that kind of stuff. So I think athletes, hopefully, if they hear this, they will start to kind of look at, okay, how serious do I want to take it? Or you know, what kind of results do I want to get, and start implementing more of these things. And that's kind of what our goal is with adults too, is like, you can't just come to the gym and do cardio 3 days a week. Like, you got to do resistance training. You got to eat right. You got to sleep more and prioritize yourself. You said it perfectly. You need to get your priorities in line in order to achieve any goal. It doesn't have to be being an athlete or CrossFit or a basketball player or whatever. It's like how successful you are in your job, like in business. Like, if you look at successful business people, like, they have the same routine. They work out because they know it helps them. They eat healthy because they know it helps them. They go to bed and wake up at a certain time because it helps them, things like that. So,
And I think that, so one piece in there that I know you kind of touched on, but I think plays a big role for you especially, is your environment and your support system. And for a lot of people, that's what's going to make or break whether they reach their goal or not. Like, I mean, you think, okay, the best athletes have awesome coaches. They have a family or a spouse or a partner that supports them. Their friends support them and everything that they do, and that they're setting themselves up with their environments. Like, I'm sure you don't keep a ton of junk food around in the house, and you have like a rower at home, and you have the equipment and everything you need set up. You probably got meal preps and snacks and all that kind of stuff to help set you up for success. And plus, like, your families, I mean, they all work out, and some more than others. And then, like, just knowing that you have people at your back that are going to help push you in the right direction is crucial for a lot of people to start.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, if you do want to pursue this, maybe having a friend who's going to commit with you. And also, if you get to the point where you're like, this is something I want to pursue, and that friend drops off, then, you know, having that mindset of just keep going, like, this is for me now. Like, I'm doing this for me, like, whether or not that person's there holding yourself, which is another thing of having, like, that discipline is a big thing that comes with it, of just whether or not everything goes to plan that day, it's getting this done is a huge thing that I've had to work on.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's always, like, there'll be days where I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I really don't want to do that. But then I start doing it. I'm like, well, I'm too far in now to give up. Like, just gotta keep going.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you look at it as, like, someone like Barry, who is going to be a college athlete. If you look at that kid, he's got everything. Like, I mean, if you had... I don't even know but like how he is in his mindset and his confidence in himself, of whatever he puts his mind towards, he's going to achieve it no matter what. And that's, I mean,
and then it's just executing and doing the work no matter what.
And
you guys just finished 75 Hard, which is literally a mindset challenge where you have to work out twice a day and drink a gallon of water, read before bed, all that kind of stuff.
Which that was very interesting, because most of those things, it is sort of how I already had, like, I had that schedule of everything. Okay, I already drank a gallon of water every day. I read, I do all that, but it's mostly just having that mindset of just, okay, I've got to get that second workout in, whether it's something easy or something real hard. If I'm just going to go outside and I'm going to go for a run, or I'm going to go row outside for 45 minutes and do these conditioning pieces, it's really just battling with yourself the entire time of, no, I'm not going to eat any junk food, I'm not going to do any of that, like, just kind of that mindset that it puts you in. It's really cool.
And you feel accomplished when you do the hard stuff like that. We live in a world where it's immediate gratification for everything, and everybody wants to be comfortable. And doing that hard stuff, it actually makes you happier, and you actually feel better after you've accomplished that.
So you're proud of yourself.
Yeah, 100%. Any final thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay, that was really, really, really good.
Okay.
Well, thanks for coming in, Riley. That was fantastic. Hopefully some people out there are motivated and inspired to at least go after their own goals, or motivated by you and your success, because it's been pretty awesome to watch.
Well, I was thinking about this, of how I started out. I mean, there's nothing unique about me other than I have changed my mindset and that stuff. But when I first started, I didn't have anything that nobody else had. I mean, I came came to the gym. Like that's kind of the first thing that I did was I stepped foot in here, which is.
That's another thing I was actually going to ask you about, because when I think about me, like, one of my goals was to get to that close to the semifinal CrossFit level. And the one year we were going to have the Michigan Throwdown where it was like top 50 men in Michigan were going to compete. And I was in that top 50. And the funny thing is I'm not even the most genetically gifted person in this gym.
Mm-hmm.
So to be one of the top 50 fittest men in Michigan, it just gave me this sense of accomplishment that hard work does pay off.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can literally accomplish so much more than you think. You just have to work for it. And so like you said, like there was nothing unique about you. You're not a genetic freak or anything, but your hard work and your discipline and consistency and that mindset has gotten you where you are. And I feel like that should be a message for everybody out there, that you don't have to be this crazy athlete or genetically gifted or crazy smart or whatever it is. If you just work your butt off and actually do what you want to do consistently, that you can get wherever you want to be.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Perfect. Is that a wrap?
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
Nice work.
Great job, Brad. Thanks again for tuning in to the Trainer Talk. If you are ready to gain back control of your health and fitness, we would love to sit down and chat with you to see if we can put together a plan for you. All you have to do is head to TaylorHutchinsonFitness.net and book a free consult. Again, make sure you like and subscribe if you like the video, and hopefully we'll see you soon.